Okay, boys and girls, today I'm going to read you a story called The Important Book by Margaret Wise Brown. And the pictures, I can't pronounce this last name, Leonard Weisgard. I'm hoping I said that correctly. So as we read this story, I want you to look for me and I will help you try and determine what the main idea might be about. The Important Book, here's our title page, by Margaret Wise Brown, and the pictures by Leonard Weisgard. So in this picture we have a spoon. Let's see what Miss Brown says the most important idea about a spoon is. The important thing about a spoon is that you eat with it. Now that's what she says is the most important thing. And look, it's the very first sentence on the page. The rest of the things are details that help us understand what a spoon is. It's like a little shovel. You hold it in your hand. You put it in your mouth. It isn't flat, it's hollow, and it spoons things up. But the important thing about a spoon is that you eat with it. Do you remember what I said in our lesson? That a lot of times the author will use the first sentence and the last sentence to help you figure out what the main idea is. And that's exactly what she has done here. She's used the first sentence and the last sentence to help us understand the important thing about a spoon. Let's look at our next picture. The important thing about a daisy is that it's white. It is yellow in the middle. It has long white petals and bees sit on it. It has a ticklish smell and it grows in green fields. There are always lots of daisies, but the important thing about a daisy is that it's white. So again, she has put the first sentence and the last sentence is the important thing that she wants us to remember about a daisy. She wants us to remember that a daisy is a white flower. And you know, when I think about a daisy, I always think about the bright white petals. That's what I think about when I think about daisies. Oh, here's my picture. That means I want you to help me figure out the most important thing in this picture. So Miss Brown's words are covered up with our window shade, and we're going to have to think and think and think about what the most important thing might be. She starts off and she says, the most important thing about rain. So look, we have a picture of rain. Pause the video while you're thinking and see if you can think of what is important about rain. Are you ready to proceed? Did you pause the video and think? All right, well, let's take off our shade and see what she says was the most important thing about rain. See if you and the author agree. The important thing about rain is that it is wet. It falls out of the sky and it sounds like rain and it makes things shiny and it doesn't taste like anything and it's the color of air. But the important thing about rain is that it's wet. So, did you agree? And you know, when I think about rain, all these other things, yes, it falls out of the sky and it sounds like rain, but you know what? I put on a raincoat and I take my umbrella and I put on my rain boots because the rain is wet. The most important thing is that the rain is wet. Let's go on to our next picture. The important thing about grass. So pause the video, and let's think about grass so that you can decide if you and the author agree on what the most important thing about grass is? Did you pause the video? All right, well, let's see what the author said was the most important thing about grass. The most important thing about grass is that it's green. It grows and is tender with a sweet, grassy smell. But the important thing about grass is that it is green. Did you agree with the author? All right, let's go to the next page. All right, the important thing about snow. What do you think is the important thing about snow? Here's my picture. I'm reminding you to pause the video here and think about snow. What is the important thing about snow? So, did you think about the important thing about snow? All right, well, let's get rid of our shades and see what the author says the important thing is. The important thing about snow is that it is white. It is cold and light. It falls softly out of the sky. It is bright and the shape of tiny stars and crystals. It is always cold and it melts, but the important thing about snow is that it is white. Yes, I love the pretty white snow. Did you agree with the author about the most important thing? All right, let's go to our next picture. Here I am again. I'm going to want you to pause the video and think about the most important thing about an apple. Did you pause? Did you think about an apple? All right, well, let's get rid of the window shade and see what the author said was the most important thing. The important thing about an apple is that it is round. Yes, it is red. You bite it, and it's white inside, and the juice splashes on your face, and it tastes like an apple, and it falls off a tree. But the important thing about an apple is that it is round. Did you agree with the author? Okay. Here I am again. I'm going to want you to stop and pause the video. This time we're thinking about the wind, the most important thing about the wind. So pause the video. Did you pause the video? Okay, well, here we are. And we're going to take away our shades so that we can find out the most important thing about the wind. The most important thing about the wind is that it blows. You can't see it, but you can feel it on your cheek and see it bend trees and blow hats away and sail boats. But the most important thing about the wind is that it blows. Did you find the most important thing? Let's go to the next page. So on this page, we're going to think about the most important thing about the sky. So you see my picture? I'm going to want you to pause the video here and think about the sky. So did you pause? Did you think about the sky? All right, let's take our shade away and see what we can find out from the author. The most important thing about the sky is that it's always there. It's true that it is blue and high and full of clouds and made of air, but the most important thing about the sky is that it's always there. Did you agree with the author? Is that what you thought? All right, here's our next picture. And here's my picture. So this time we're going to think about the important thing about a shoe. So pause the video and think about your shoes. Okay, are you ready to see what's behind the shade? Did you stop and think about your shoes? Let's see if you agreed with the author. The important thing about a shoe is that you put your foot in it. You walk in it and you take it off at night and it's warm when you take it off. But the important thing about a shoe is that you put your foot in it. Did you agree? All right, here's our next page. The important thing about you. This time she's talking about you. And here's my picture. So I'm going to want you to pause the video and I'm going to ask you to think about you and think about what's important about you. Okay, did you think? Are you ready for me to take away the shade so you can see what the author said about you? All right, here we go. The important thing about you is that you are you. It's true that you were a baby and you grew and now you are a child and you will grow into a man or into a woman. But the important thing about you is that you are you. And that was the end of the author's book, but I added one more page. So let's go see what's on the last page. And the important thing about your teacher is that she loves being your teacher. I have enjoyed reading this book to you. I hope you enjoyed it too.